this nether stuff never ends. You know, it's going to be a good video when it starts off with a joke as cheesy as that. Today's video is going to be all about building up some form of nether base. I've had this idea in my head of this build, which is a bit like a factory. It's quite industrial looking, but also it will still look quite homely. It's going to be like a lava lakeside build, I guess. A lava lakeside cabin, but also with some factory bits involved, moving pieces. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm gonna freestyle it. I think I'm just going to start placing in blocks and see what happens. That's often the best way to go. Of course, having said that, it can go horrendously, horribly, disgustingly wrong, so hopefully that doesn't happen today. So I built a pipe. I've built a pipe. I built a tube thing, which goes down into a pump, or at least what looks like a pump down in the lava. So this is kind of going to be the build style of this entire thing. I'm just trying to imagine how everything's going to look. I mean, I do think this is quite a cool start. I think we should have some redstone in these redstone lamps. But the fact that I totally can't see in lava is potentially going to make that a little bit challenging. I don't even know where I am right now. Oh my goodness, I'm totally lost. I tried to use some command blocks to actually clear out the lava and instead cleared out totally the wrong area. This is not good. After almost throwing my computer in actual lava, yet I want to set fire to my computer at this point in time, I have managed to get this thing up and running. Now, it wasn't a particularly complicated redstone contraption, that's for sure. It's just lava. Lava is the single worst thing to try and work around in Minecraft. But I think we can all agree that that little lava pump is actually quite satisfying. Especially now that I've added all of the lava into the chamber, and also I've added in a few extra pistons down at the bottom just to really sell the fact that this is a mechanical pump that is sucking up all of the lava from the lava lake. Okay, I'd say we're done with the pipe. Let's move on to the actual building. And this is what we've got so far. So, as you can see, I've got, once again, continuing that industrial theme, we're going to have a few chimneys up at the top here, which I guess we should also put some redstone into. I like the idea of there being, like, puffs of smoke coming out of these. Is that something that I'm actually going to be able to pull off? I mean, obviously, we can do the actual smoke. That's relatively easy. But one thing that I've noticed is that blocks above campfires, they don't do the blocking thing anymore. They don't actually seem to reduce the amount of smoke in the slightest, which means that I can't really redstonify this. Which, by the way, I think should now become an official word. This is looking very, very cool. This is looking really, really cool. Okay, let's build up the base off the side of this thing. I've been building this thing, and I was like, this looks really, really cool, and then I flew up to here and started to realise this might be one of my favourite faces I've built in Minecraft, and I did it by accident. I don't think it's getting any better with the addition of a body either. I mean, it still definitely looks like a robot that's had a minor eye problem. Anyway, I've added in all of the redstone lamps going across now, so it looks like there's some bits and pieces going on here. And then this is actually going to be the main part of the build. So I think we're going to have a piston door, I would actually say here. Yeah, this seems like a really good place for the entrance, just right in that area there. And then in this space, this is where we're actually going to start building things up. And we've actually got quite a lot of space to work with here. Now, one thing that I really want to build up is a ghast turret. Okay, so I want to have some form of defense system here where I can actually open up. I can open up this area and I can start firing out ghasts and things like that. I've just come up with an idea. Why am I doing it from the ceiling? I definitely don't have to do it from the ceiling. I was struggling so much with space. I've come up with a great idea. What I'll have is double piston extenders down at the bottom here, which will push and pull these blocks up and down, giving me access to this little shooting area that will allow me to fire outwards. And as you can see, I've used stairs for this, so I have the maximum range of being able to shoot things at the ghasts. Not that I'll ever hit them, of course. You know, my aim's terrible. So if I hit this button here, the ghast defenses pop up. So we aren't going to be getting attacked in our own base. But then if I fancy popping some of them off, we hit this button here and I'll be able to check the area before actually leaving. Which brings me on to the next point of this piston door right here. What I want to do is create a sliding piston door that retracts down into the ground. Now, this would have been very, very difficult. Like a couple months ago, it would have been impossible, to be honest with you, to build a 3x3 hipster door in this space here. But now that we have honey blocks and slime blocks, we can do it relatively easily. It's still going to be tough, but it's not going to be impossible. I wonder if I can use a setup like this to actually move the blocks around. Or will that be an issue? I feel like this central block, doing some pushing and pulling, could could cause a problem, maybe. Honestly, not entirely certain. Well, that didn't work, so instead I'm going to have to grab each section of this door in little slices with triple piston extenders, and the problem is that my go-to triple piston extender, which is this one by Rat Pat, is a fantastic little design. Doesn't quite work with slime blocks and honey blocks, because obviously the slime blocks and honey blocks are going to stick to these observers here, so I'm going to have to do a tiny bit of redesigning. But thankfully it wasn't too complicated, and now I have a fully functioning design for a 3x3 piston door where all of the blocks go down the floor. I mean, you guys have heard me say it so many times. Honey blocks, they're just the best, aren't they? Now, what should I put on this back wall? I've been staring at it for like the past 10 minutes, just trying to work out what will fit well in this space. It's kind of difficult. It's like a tricky spot. What would I want in a nether base? This is the sort of stuff that I struggle with. It's not the redstone bits, it's the details. I thought it would be cool to just add a few bits and pieces on the back wall. I also feel like some shulker boxes and things would be good to have in this area here, just so we have a tiny bit of storage. I definitely don't think black was the right choice there. This base is going to be absolute lighting update chaos. There's so many various different redstone lamps that are turning on and off at all times. I think that's why my frame rate looks just a little bit choppy. I've been noticing that throughout the video. That and the fact that I don't have Optifine, although my FPS is kind of saying something otherwise. I have gone full 2011 with this one. So we have got, I thought it would be a good idea to have some kind of control panel out the back here. And then I thought it would be interesting to have just a handful of flashing redstone lamps, you know, updates coming through and things. And what's the best way to do that? It is, of course, to make use of chicken randomizers. So here we have a couple chickens out the back that are controlling this part of the system. Now, a few of these levers and buttons are going to be faked, but I thought it would be interesting to actually have one of them do something. I guess we should have it next to this red button here, because this looks like an end of the world button. What I thought would be a good idea to do is build like a doomsday bunker. Well, not a doomsday bunker, that's not quite the right word, but like a bunker. A little area underneath the base that you can go to if things go south, okay? If things go really wrong, you can open up this area in the floor, you can drop through, and you can be safe from whatever's happening out there. I just found some of that netherite stuff. But I broke it. But I wanted to show you, but it was right there. See, it's not that rare. I could definitely make a netherite beacon. Only 5,500 more bits to go. Is that the maths? I don't know what the maths is. I'm sure all of you are screaming about it in the comment section already. Anyway, this is clearly a 3x3 hole, which means that I feel like, you know, slime blocks and honey blocks is probably the way to go again. I want to make a flush with the floor 3x3 trapdoor. That's not actually something that I've done yet with these blocks. I think I did it ages ago, like a long time ago, using old school piston mechanics, but I imagine we can probably make it a lot simpler now. So I have been scratching my head on how I'm going to do this for ages, because a lot of the triple piston extended designs, they can't be put next to one another, but then I realized I have gotten so lucky that essentially our wall is right there, and that means that I can do all of this. I've got all this free space to play with redstone, which means that we can actually make a working triple piston extender, at least I hope. And thanks to the YouTuber Quantum Apple, we can. There is a design out there that actually works. Here it is in all of its glory. As you can see, it's a very compact observer-based design. It's actually designed to be flush with the wall, which is pretty cool. Now I just need to fill in some blocks there. And if we connect this thing up, I'm about to give this thing its first test. Hopefully it does all function. Well, that was rapid. Look at that. Quantum Apple, you legend. He only has 23 subscribers at the minute, so he's doing some interesting redstone stuff. You should check him out. Anyway, we aren't quite finished with this one just yet, because we need to place in all of the pistons, which are actually going to make this flush. And I've just had an idea that would have worked if this wasn't in the way. I could have powered the pistons from the other side. I mean, there's no real way for me to do it without... I mean, I can use redstone torches. I just need to power blocks that are here. I've just thought if I increase the height of this redstone, so I run this redstone line across like this, surely that does the trick? And that means that then I can actually run repeaters into these blocks. That seems nice and easy, to be honest. And it sort of was. I mean, everything is now fully functioning, and I have to say, I mean, the opening and closing sequence of slime block and honey block doors, for me, is always just the best. It seems so un-Minecrafty. Like, do you remember the days when you would try so hard to get pistons to work in sync and have nice opening and closing sequences? Nowadays, it's plain sailing. I mean, if we take a look underneath here, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, it's probably bigger than most 3x3 flush piston doors. This is a lot bigger than my original design, I think. But still, it looks really cool. And, I mean, it's fair to say that it's not actually flush, given that all of this redstone is actually above the ground. It's just hidden by this wall. Still, okay, the design is cool. Stop blasting me down in the comment section. I can feel you blasting me down in the comment section. Oh, and one thing that I've added into this system is just an easy escape. Obviously, if you're down at the bottom here, you're gonna struggle to get out. So I've added in this little slime block with this button that shoots us back up to the surface, so then we can close everything up behind us. It's just a nice little detail. Now look, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've been watching a lot of Doomsday Preppers on Netflix. It's really mindless television, but I mean sometimes I enjoy watching it in my downtime, and that means that I am now very experienced with various forms of bunkers, so hopefully we should be able to make a decent one down here. In the Nether you don't have to worry about water on your redstone, but lava on your redstone is equally as bad. This genuinely looks like the sorts of bunkers that are on the TV show. We've got the blue torches, we've got bunk beds lined up. I thought I'd chuck some iron bars in. Now we just need food storage, which I guess actually we could probably put out into like some kind of freezer type thing. In fact, you know what, we're gonna go all out here. We're gonna have freezers. I've just searched door. I'm not actually trying to get a door. We need iron blocks. This actually ended up being a tiny bit more complicated than I expected. Nothing too crazy, but I thought I'd explain it. So this double piston extender is pushing 12 blocks, including the slime blocks and the iron blocks. But then we also have the extra block, which is the piston in the double piston extender. So that means that that bottom piston there is trying to push 13 blocks. So we've had to get around that by using this observer, which shoots first. So you can see that the top piston extends first, then the double piston extender fires, and that allows us to move this thing around. I am more than likely incorrect here, but isn't it the case that honey never spoils? Like, honey never goes bad? Surely that would be a good thing to have in a bunker, no? If it never goes off, then that's the perfect food to have in a bunker, because you could just eat honey. Honey's okay. I could happily eat honey for the rest of my life. You know? Perfect. Food storage. So there we go. I think that is our little bunker, our little end of the world bunker, all done and dusted. Let's hop out of there and close everything up behind us. Fantastic. That's awesome. Our control panel's working well. Our little ghast protection is working well. Our massive entrance is working pretty well as well. The whole place looks really cool. We've got a working lava pump, which is the fuel, I guess, for this entire place. We've got smoking chimneys, the whole lot. I'm pretty happy with this little build. I'm enjoying working on nether-based contraptions and nether-based things, because I have to say, I think in the entire time that I've had my YouTube channel, I've never really done any nether-related things. Seriously. Other than the odd hidden nether portal or redstone nether portal, this is kind of it. I'm having a blast. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next video. See ya. You know, I'll be honest, that ending even caught me by surprise. You know, I didn't even see it coming. And I was the one that was saying it. It just came out of nowhere. I finished the video. I'm a little bit out of practice. My voice has been totally shot over the past couple of days. It's finally starting to come back, but even now I can feel it going again. I hate illness. I hate it.